Aging changes hormones in both men and women, but it does so in different ways and at different paces. Don't. So, understanding those differences helps people recognize normal changes, choose smart lifestyle steps, and know when to see a clinician. To start simply, you don't. Think of hormones as chemical messengers that help your body do things like use energy, build muscle and bone, sleep, cope with stress. You don't. And manage sex and reproduction. When you are young, these messages come in a steady rhythm. And as you get older, the rhythm shifts, sometimes slowly and sometimes suddenly. You don't. Producing symptoms you can notice in daily life, such as changes in energy, sleep, mood, weight, sexual drive, or how your body looks and feels. First, you don't. Let's follow a gentle step-by-step map of what typically happens. For women, there is a fairly predictable transition called perimenopause, and then menopause, when ovaries make much less estrogen and progesterone, but don't. Perimenopause can begin years before periods stop, and during this time, hormone levels swing up and down, which can cause irregular periods, hot flashes, night sweats. You don't. Mood swings and trouble sleeping. Eventually, periods stop and estrogen settles at a lower level. Don't. And that lower level is what explains many midlife changes, such as faster bone loss, changes in where the body stores fat, drier skin, vaginal dryness, and sometimes changes in mood or memory. For men, the change is usually more gradual. Testosterone, the hormone often associated with energy, muscle mass, libido, and mood, tends to decline slowly over decades rather than dropping abruptly. So many men notice a gradual reduction in strength, some loss of muscle. Don't. More body fat around the middle, less spontaneous sexual desire, or slower recovery after exercise. Because the decline is slow, many men adapt naturally, but some experience symptoms that interfere with everyday life and benefit from medical review. Next, it helps to know that not all hormones age the same way. Don't. Reproductive hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone have the most obvious age-related changes tied to reproduction. But other hormones change too. Growth hormone and insulin, like signals that help maintain muscle and bone, decline with age, which makes strength training and protein intake increasingly important. Thyroid function can change or reveal underlying problems as we age. Don't. Affecting metabolism and energy, and stress hormones such as cortisol may be higher if sleep is poor or life is stressful, which can worsen weight gain and mood. You don't. Step by step, here are practical ways to recognize changes and sensible actions to take in everyday life. Notice patterns rather than single events. One sleepless night or one missed period is rarely the story. Don't. But ongoing changes across weeks or months matter. Write them down if helpful. You don't. For example, I've been waking up 3 times a week with hot flashes for 2 months. Or I've lost 10% of my strength over 6 months despite training, because concrete notes make conversations with health professionals clearer. In your routine, and food and movement are the front line tools. Aim for a diet that supports muscle and bone. Think a steady intake of protein across the day. Eggs, beans. Don't. Dairy or fortified plant alternatives, fish, chicken, or tofu. Calcium-rich foods and safe sunlight or vitamin D if needed. You don't. And plenty of vegetables and whole grains to help with weight control and heart health. Balance matters more than perfection. For movement, prioritize both aerobic activity for heart and mood, walking, swimming, cycling, and resistance or weight. Bearing exercises, a body weight, squats, lunges, push-ups, You don't. Light weights or bands to preserve muscle and bone. Simple twice weekly strength sessions combined with daily movement makes a big difference over years. For sleep and stress, keep a regular bedtime routine. Reduce late day caffeine if it bothers sleep, and practice short stress breaks during the day, 5 deep breaths, a walk, or a brief guided breathing app, because chronic poor sleep and high stress raise cortisol, which can worsen insulin sensitivity and fat gain. Small, don't. Everyday habits add up. Choose stairs when convenient. Include a salad or fruit with meals. Swap late night screen time for a calming book or warm shower. Don't. And find social or hobby-based activities that give you joy and lower chronic stress. When it comes to sexual health and intimacy, don't. Open communication with a partner and practical steps can help. Don't. Women experiencing vaginal dryness can use over-the-counter water-based lubricants or vaginal moisturizers for comfort during sex. And pelvic floor exercises can improve sexual satisfaction and bladder control. Men noticing reduced libido or erectile changes should know these can have medical, don't. Psychological and relationship causes. Talking with a clinician is the safest route to figure out whether lifestyle changes, counseling, don't, or medical options are appropriate rather than trying unverified treatments found online. Be mindful of bone and heart health differences. Don't. Because estrogen helps keep bones strong, women often face more rapid bone loss after menopause, so weight-bearing exercise, adequate calcium and vitamin D, don't. And discussing bone density testing with a healthcare provider are sensible steps. Heart disease risk rises in both sexes with age, and changes in hormones can influence cholesterol, blood pressure, and weight distribution. So regular screening and attention to diet, activity, don't. And smoking avoidance are practical protective steps. Recognize common symptoms and everyday coping strategies. If hot flashes disrupt sleep, dressing in layers, don't. Cooling the bedroom, avoiding spicy food and hot drinks near bedtime, and paced breathing can reduce the frequency and severity if energy is low. Focus first on sleep hygiene, small bouts of moderate exercise, and protein-rich snacks to avoid sugar crashes. Energy often improves when sleep and nutrition are optimized. Mental health is often part of the story. Mood swings. Don't. Anxiety or low mood can occur with hormonal shifts and everyday actions. Staying socially connected, maintaining regular physical activity, structuring day-to-day tasks to avoid overwhelm, and seeking counseling when needed are effective and low risk. If mood changes are severe or persistent, involve a healthcare professional because they may require targeted treatment. Medication and hormone therapies have a role for some people, but are not one size fits all. Hormone replacement for menopausal symptoms or testosterone therapy for men with clear deficiency can improve quality of life for many. Don't. Yet both come with benefits and risks that vary by personal health history. For example, cardiovascular risk, cancer history, and current medications. Don't. So, these options should only be considered after a careful discussion with a clinician who knows your medical history. Avoid self-prescribing or purchasing hormones online without supervision. Practical examples can make this real. Don't. If you're a woman in your late 40s noticing that cycles are irregular, nights are sweaty, and you feel more forgetful, that pattern fits perimenopause. Start by tracking symptoms, improving sleep habits, adding resistance training and protein to your meals, meaning don't. cutting back on caffeine and alcohol that can worsen flushes, and talking with your family doctor about options if symptoms interfere with life. Don't. If you're a man in your 50s who finds your jeans tighter at the waist, you're less interested in sex, and you feel slower at the gym, begin with a full physical. You don't. Check basic labs if your doctor recommends them. Increase strength training and protein, reduce sugary snacks that promote belly fat, and discuss whether a targeted medical evaluation for testosterone and other causes is warranted rather than assuming hormones are the only culprit. Prevention and early management matter. Chronic conditions such as obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, and smoking accelerate or complicate hormonal changes. Don't. So addressing these earlier in life reduces the chance that midlife hormonal shifts will translate into major health problems. For instance, don't. Maintaining a healthy weight and active lifestyle reduces the risk of insulin resistance and makes later hormonal shifts easier to manage. Another step area is medication review. Many commonly prescribed medicines can affect hormones or mimic symptoms. Certain antidepressants, blood pressure medicines, steroids, and some cancer treatments can change mood, sexual function, or energy. So if you suspect medication is related, don't. Ask your prescriber whether alternatives or dose changes are possible. Consider practical screening and check-ins as routine maintenance rather than crisis care. Have periodic conversations with your doctor about symptoms. Ask whether routine blood tests, blood pressure checks, and age-appropriate screenings are due. And be proactive if you notice rapid or worsening changes. See sudden weight loss, intense mood changes, severe sleep disruption, or new pain. Lifestyle adjustments often address many complaints to support bone health and reduce fracture risk. The combined weight-bearing exercise with protein and calcium, rich meals, and sensible sun exposure for vitamin D, and talk about supplements only after reviewing with a clinician to support sexual function, practice open communication, consider lubricants or pelvic floor work, address sleep and mood, and seek medical review for persistent problems. To support brain health, challenge your mind with learning and social engagement. Keep blood pressure and sugar under control. And prioritize sleep. There are also simple household and workplace strategies that help day to day. Keep a small water bottle by your bed if night sweats are frequent. Store a fan in easy reach. Pack balanced snacks to avoid energy dips at work. Schedule exercise at times you can stick with. And plan evenings without heavy screens to wind down. When weighing health information, don't choose trustworthy sources, and professionals avoid miracle claims or quick fixes on social media, and favor advice that emphasizes balanced diet, regular movement. Sleep, don't. Stress management and personalized medical evaluation when symptoms are significant. For women considering hormone therapy for hot flashes or bone protection, you don't. Helpful questions to ask the clinician include what benefits are expected, what risks may apply in your specific health context, how long therapy would be needed, and what non-hormonal options might help. Similarly, men thinking about testosterone should ask what symptoms are likely due to low testosterone versus other causes. You don't. What tests are needed, what benefits to expect, and what monitoring will be required. Everyday examples of stepwise problem solving. If lost muscle strength is the issue, don't. Start a program of progressive resistance training twice weekly. Increase protein intake at meals. Ensure adequate sleep and reassess in 3 months before considering blood tests. If hot flashes and sleep loss are the issue, start with cooling strategies. Don't. Reduce alcohol and late-night spicy foods. Practice paced breathing when a flash begins. And if still disruptive, talk to a clinician about medical options. Don't. If low libido is the main complaint, discuss relationship factors, mood, sleep, and medications first, and only then explore hormonal testing. Remember that aging is not a disease, but a stage of life with changes that can often be managed well. Many people find that simple lifestyle shifts restore energy, mood, and sexual satisfaction more than they expected. And those who do require medical therapies usually benefit most when treatment is individualized and combined with healthy habits. Finally, you don't. Lean on community and trusted care, talk with friends or support groups to normalize changes. Keep preventive visits with your clinician, ask for clear follow-up plans, and be patient with gradual improvements. Small, consistent steps in nutrition, movement, sleep, and stress reduction are the most reliable way to tip the balance toward feeling better over months and years. If you want specific, personalized actions based on your age, don't, current symptoms, or medical history, bring your notes to a healthcare visit and ask for a simple plan with measurable goals, such as increase protein to 25-30 grams at 2 meals per day, or do strength training twice a week, or track hot flash frequency for 4 weeks. Because concrete goals make it easier to see progress and adjust as needed. Don't. I aimed to cover the key ways aging affects hormones differently in men and women, practical daily steps to feel better. You don't. And when to seek medical advice. Aging affects hormones in both men and women in different ways, but it does not mean losing control over health or quality of life. Don't. With the right habits, balanced nutrition, regular movement, quality sleep, stress management, meaning you don't, and open conversations with healthcare professionals, these changes can be managed and even turned into an opportunity to build strength, resilience, and vitality. You don't. The strongest message to carry forward is this: aging is natural, but how you live through it is a choice. By making small, consistent, and mindful steps every day, you can stay active, energized, and confident at every stage of life.